In her State of the State address, the governor said to pass meaningful property tax reform, we also need to be lean at the local level. Given that the governor has called for local communities to be lean, what implications do you see for Iowa City if the legislature does indeed reform and or reduce property taxes? Starting with you, Mr. Nusser.
Thank you. Broadly, we in Iowa City are a blue dot in a very red state, and we do not need to put a target on our backs. We need to avoid further state and federal intervention, and that means that we have to go along and figure out how we can deal with the legislation coming down by the state. We need to work with them, not against them. I don't know what that means yet. I don't know what the cuts are going to be. I don't know what decisions we're going to be faced, but I can tell you that in going about that, I would rely heavily on the city manager, the city attorney, the city clerk for seeing what council has done in the past, and then city staff as well as community input.
How do you each approach the question of labor within Iowa City? What is your experience with labor union leadership and rank and file?
Yeah, and so I'm going to let everyone in on a little secret about running for office. If you don't know much about the unions, the second that you run for office, you know an awful lot about the unions. They all reach out to you, and I am for meeting people, connecting with them, listening to them, and understanding them. And so I've been fortunate enough I've not had a whole lot of experience prior to now dealing with unions. It's just not something that, as an independent contractor, that's not something that I've done. But I can certainly listen, and I have certainly enjoyed meeting the people from the various unions and starting to form meaningful relationships. I absolutely believe in labor.
What do you think you'll bring to the city council that's different?
I think that'll bring real estate experience where it's needed. So I have devoted my career on real estate and the practice of real estate. I understand the pragmatic value and the pragmatic touches of real estate and how to operate things at different levels. I understand the pragmatic constraints of lending laws and how that affects the housing that gets built. I understand how to develop a city and how to create policy that shows that we are open for business and not closed. And I think that Iowa City gets a bad rap on that. I think that we need to do better going forward, understanding, hearing all groups, and crafting policy that allows our community to grow our tax base, that allows and while preserving the culture that we love and evolving the culture that we so love. We've done that really well with ICDD.
How would you uphold Johnson County and Iowa City's commitment to non-discrimination laws and principles in the face of pressure from the state and national government, and particularly threats to transgender and LGBTQ plus residents?
Supporting people is very important. Supporting rights is very important. How will I do this? I don't know right now because I don't know what's coming at us. I do know how I would thoughtfully approach it. I would figure out what is coming at me and what is coming at Iowa City, and then we'd have to work to be very careful in this. These are people at stake, and people being at stake require very careful and personal solutions. And so I would work with my fellow electeds, and then I would work with staff, and I would work to hear the community and figure out what the best response for Iowa City would be and how we can use that as part of our strategy in dealing with things that might come our way in the future that we are not anticipating.
Will Iowa City Police Department participate, assist, or basically how will they be involved in ICE enforcement at the local level? Starting with you, Mr. Nusser.
I don't know. These are all things. This goes back to so many of these questions, is that that we are facing a lot of uncertainty. Normally, these types of elections aren't happening in January right after a new president has been inaugurated and a new agenda is flowing down crazy. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how the Iowa City Police is going to be able to deal with it. I know that I would like to be part of those discussions. I know that I would like to value the individuals and show support for all of our community, especially our immigrant populations, as we deal with whatever is coming down. It's the great unknown right now, and I'm here to meet it.
Do you have 20 hours per week to devote to city council business?
Yeah, I do. So being in real estate, I'm uniquely positioned where I work 7 days a week, and I set my own schedule on this, and that has allowed me to be involved in the volunteering opportunities that I've been able to be involved in. This is an extension of it. I grew up here. I care very much about our community. I have kids here, and I care about their future too. And I think that I don't think we should meet the state with opposition. I don't think we should raise against them. I think that we need to figure out how we can stay off their radar and keep being Iowa City and keep our thing going and protect our people and not give them a reason to come down and break down our doors.
What will you do to preserve the North Side neighborhood? What types of housing, if any, would be added? And will you promise not to add any luxury housing?
That's such an interesting question to me, because I love the North Side. I mean, the North Side's my jam. I live right in the center of it. Of course I want to protect the North Side. My family when they came to Iowa City, they came to the North Side on Lynch Street. So there's history in the North Side. There's vibrancy in the North Side. Would I not add any luxury housing? Well, I'll tell you what, going on city council will limit my ability to develop. It is going to be a detriment to me personally. And so I don't know. I'm not going to promise that, because I'm not going to promise anything that would be of detriment to my career. It would just be unfair of me to both the public and to myself. And so I'll do everything that I possibly can to support the North Side and to continue its incredible history.
And Mr. Nusser, do you consider a conflict of interest to be a prominent landlord who will be involved in rezoning and development on the council?
So I'm flattered by the fact that someone has referred to me as a prominent landlord. I'm not actually a landlord by definition. I operate a couple of Airbnbs and I help manage property. But do I think that will, I've kind of answered this earlier. This is going to hurt me. For as long as I'm on council, any conflict that I have, I won't be able to be involved in. There will be certain conflicts that I'm just straight prohibited from doing by state law. And this is checked by the other 6 council members, by the city attorney, by the city manager, by the city staff, and probably by the state now. They'll probably be looking at us. So I think that when it comes to conflicts of interest, we'll be just fine.